Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
It's 9:05 at 97.5 Glory FM, and welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. And hi, everyone. Welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show, 97.5 Glory FM. I'm Mike Wofford. I'm with you until 10 o'clock this morning here on 97.5 Glory FM. Online at WGTJRadio.com. We're streaming on the TuneIn Radio app, Simple Radio app, and the Radio Garden app. Home of Grandma's and Echo. Say, enable the skill, 97.5 Glory FM. We have a live video stream on YouTube at Team Glory Sports. Make sure you subscribe and like our new YouTube channel there at Team Glory Sports, where we are just 2 weeks left of the regular season of high school football for 2024, and we still have teams fighting for playoff berths, and some were really settled last night. One team wrapping up the regular season was Gainesville last night as they went on the road and they fall to Roswell 48-45. That means that Gainesville will play all of their games on the road in the state playoffs. They will not play at City Park Stadium, Bobby Groom Field, unless there is an upset in the state playoffs in Class Quinte. The game you heard here on 97.5 Glory FM, what a wild one it was, as it was Jamarcus Harrison scoring a touchdown with 26 seconds to go in the game to lift East Hall past West Hall by a final of 42-35 in that thriller last night. Also, it was North Hall wrapping up the Region 6 AAA Championship with a 56-7 win over Johnson. It was Cherokee Bluff falling in their chance to win the Region 8 AAA Championship, as it was Jefferson defeating the Cherokee Bluff Bears by a score of 35-7 from last night. Also around the area, big second half for Lumpkin County as they beat Dawson County over at Tiger Stadium by a final of 38-14. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later on. Talked to all the coaches last night on the final score. Make sure you join me on Friday nights between 11 and midnight talking about the details of all the games on Friday nights. Also around the area, it was Lakeview Academy wrapping a playoff berth, but now we'll see if they'll play at home in the opening round of the state playoffs in a couple of weeks. You heard from Coach Lee Coleman as the Lions win their game against Loganville Christian 48-13. Lions making history, becoming the team with the best record in regular season school history as they win their 9th game of the year last night, going 9-1 during the regular season. They'll take next week off, get a first round bye, then they'll play on November the 8th in the first round, the quarterfinal round. In fact, 8 teams left in the GIAA state football playoffs. And if Lakeview Academy plays at home, we'll find out next week after the season is completed in the GIAA whether or not we'll be able to play down here at Lakeview Academy and bring you the play-by-play here on 97.5 Glory FM. Also around the area from last night, how about this one? Chestatee pulling off the big upset. I mentioned on Game Plan, this will be your upset special, even though I did pick White County to win since it was senior night there at their home field in Cleveland, but it was Chestatee beating White County 23-21, the final in that one. A huge win for the War Eagles. They go now to 4-5 overall on the season. It was North Oconee getting past the Flyer Branch Falcons in a big way, 63-7, the final score in that ball game from last night. Then around the area, it was Habersham Central winner over Appalachia. Seconder will be in the state playoffs for the first time in school history as Coach Tony Lottie's team from Seconder, they were victorious over Chattahoochee last night. They'll be the number 4 team, it looks like right now, in Region 7 Quinte. Also from last night, it was Commerce with that big rival victory over Banks County. It was also Prince Avenue Christian, a winner over East Jackson in a big way from last night. Also, it was Jackson County. They'll be probably the number 2 seed right now in the state playoffs in Class Quinte out of Region 8 as they were a shutout winner over Loganville, 31-0 from last night. Union County falls to Sonoraville. It was Southeast Whitfield 7, Towns County 3, Athens Academy. They defeat Rabun County, so Rabun County will be the number 3 seed there in the number 3 seed out of Region 8A Division 1. And a big win for Commerce last night. They're going to be, looks like, the number 1 seed out of that division. Of course, we'll bring you all the details about the playoffs right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Beaufort, no problem at all. They defeated Mountain View from last night. It was Lambert getting a home field game in the first round of state playoffs in Class 6A as they were victorious over Denmark. Also last night it was North Forsyth. They got a win over Alpharetta. It was North Atlanta. They were winners over West Forsyth from last night, and it was Forsyth Central defeating South Forsyth, and the game's over in Forsyth County from last night. Stevens County, they defeated Hart County last night in Region 8AA, and it was also, it was Franklin County falling to Hebron Christian from last night in that region. Of course, we'll bring you all the details on high school football here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll hopefully get a chance to talk with Coach Matt Turner of East Hall here in a few moments. We'll talk college football this morning. We'll talk with Dave Colton. He's in Boone, North Carolina this morning, getting ready for the play-by-play coverage of college football with Georgia State and Appalachian State right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Will be the flagship station for the network today. Panther pregame show begins at 12:30. Kick off the game at 1 p.m. as Georgia State looking for their first ever win over Appalachian State. And also coming up this morning, we'll talk about NFL football, the Atlanta Falcons. It's the Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we'll talk with Harper LaBelle this morning during the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
Hi, Hope Bunch, the voice of Long Street Cafe.
Mary, did you know Long Street Cafe supports great programs like FCA? Northeast Georgia FCA is working to see the world transformed by Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes.
And they do a great job of making their mission work through the E3 strategy of making disciples who make disciples. I remember that from my days in school.
Yeah, FCA has been around a while.
Hey now!
Find out more at ghcfca.org.
If you need to communicate to a lot of people, you need Gainesville Signs and Graphics. They are a full-service sign company. From consultation through construction, they'll handle all aspects of your sign needs. Political signs, banners, magnetics, monuments, subdivision and street signs, as well as vehicle and storefront graphics. So trust your sign needs to Gainesville Signs and Graphics. Check out their website at GainesvilleSignsandGraphics.com or call 770-533-5700.
If you need on-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
13 minutes past 9 o'clock here at 97.5 Glory FM. This is a Saturday Morning Sports Show. I'm Mike Wofford, and with you until 10. Trying to get in touch with Coach Matt Turner of East Hall, but he is busy. It's been very difficult this season with coaches. I go back to my early days here at this station. We were trying to get coaches, and Saturday's always a difficult day, it seems like, to get coaches. That's why I love the Final Score on Friday nights, as we get a chance to talk to all the coaches and reporters from 11 until midnight, talking about their games. But what a game we had last night, as it was East Hall and West Hall going back and forth in the game last night. It started out with West Hall getting the opening possession, and they held the ball for over 9 minutes in the opening quarter last night. And they were on the 3-yard line of East Hall when it was Kason Jones. He intercepted a Brett Stern pass, and that stopped the first drive of the ball game. Then it was the Vikings getting the ball on the 20-yard line, and they drive downfield on their opening possession with the first score of the game.
Lucas Pruitt beside his quarterback. He gets the pitch, goes around far side to the 10, the 5, cuts inside, touchdown Vikings!
Now, they missed a PAT. They first said it was good, then they said no, it wasn't any good. So it was 6-0 in favor of East Hall. But then here came, this went into the second quarter of play, by the way. They held the ball for about almost 4 minutes of play. It would go into the second quarter, and the Vikings are leading 6-0. But then here came West Hall, and they take the lead 7-6.
One man hopping along there, going to get it off to Elijah from Sturm. No, Sturm keeps it. 5, 4, 3, touchdown, Spartan.
All right. What a great game for Brett Stern last night. Probably the best game I have seen him play in his career. at West Hall High, as they are now 4-5 of the season, and also the same thing for East Hall with that win last night. Went back and forth, as mentioned. It was 7-6 at that point. You hear the great call from Joe Gill with our next call.
Jamarcus looking to run. Now he throws it back in the end zone. Got a man. Jump ball.
Touchdown.
Jason Jones. Touchdown. Jason Jones waited. He jumped up, caught it about 8 yards deep for the touchdown.
Now, Casey's a teammate of Jamarcus Harrison's on the East Hall basketball team. We were talking to Adam Rich, the athletic director at East Hall, last night prior to our broadcast. He was talking about they're getting ready for East Hall basketball. We had their first broadcast, the first game of the season, in fact, coming up on November the 12th. On Tuesday, November the 12th, Joe and I will be up at North Hall, as it will be East Hall and North Hall, and you may see Jamarcus Harrison. Now, if the Vikings were to get into the state playoffs, then he could not play, nor could Casey Jones. However, if they end up losing their game next week and they don't make the state playoffs, then you would see both Jamarcus Harrison and Casey Jones play in that basketball game on November the 12th there against North Hall. That should be something special for us. Our first game of the season, North versus East. The only time they'll play this season, unless they play in the Lanierland tournament. And we'll have more details about that as we get ready. Counting down to the tip-off of high school basketball coming up on November the 12th. Jamarcus Harrison with an outstanding ball game last night as he led the team to the victory over West Hall. We got much more for you here from Joe Gailey.
Pruitt fakes the handoff of Jamarcus across the 45, steps inside the 50, the 45, the 40, a foot race, the 30, the 20, the 10, all the way. Jamarcus Harrison, no flags, touchdown Vikings.
And that one was a 60-yard touchdown run by Jamarcus Harrison.
Side, back to pass, Sturm looking deep. Got a man down there, defense is all over him. Man catches it, touchdown.
Oh, what a catch.
Spartans.
And Shakavora, he was the man who caught that touchdown pass. What a great night he had catching the football there from Brett Sturm. And again, going back and forth going into the second half of play.
Jamarcus takes it, comes to the near side, across the 10, the 5, stops, touchdown, Vikings!
We went out to a 2-touchdown lead there going into the fourth quarter play. And then the fourth quarter was really a wild one. Like every time somebody had the football, they were scoring.
Jamarcus tries to cut inside and does, falls into the end zone, touchdown, Vikings!
And you kept seeing what a great job the line of scrimmage on the offensive side did, allowing Jamarcus Harrison to be able to scramble when he needed to, then also to score those touchdowns with the Vikings last night.
Elijah behind him, 3 wide outs far side, Sturm back, looks, goes deep, got a man open down there, complete, down to the 18, 10, 5, touchdown!
Another great pass there from Brett Sturm to Shaka, as it was the West Hall team coming back. They tied the football game with 1:12 to go in the ball game.
Pistol formation, Sturm with Hayes behind him, looking to pass. Still looking, throws it right over the top. Got a man. Touchdown! Touchdown for the Spartans.
And then it came down to the final play of the ball game after West Hall ties the ball game with 1:12 to go in the ball game. Kickoff goes into the end zone. It means the Vikings get the ball on the 20-yard line. They have 80 yards to go. Do they settle for overtime? Do they try to get a field goal, win the football game, or do they go for the touchdown? It took them 46 seconds to score the winning touchdown. And, of course, it was Jamarcus Harrison.
Flushed out by the big man in the middle. Jamarcus going to run. 25, 20, cuts to this side. 15, 10, 5, jumps, touchdown, East Hall!
And the Vikings come out with an exciting 42-35 win over West Hall from last night. The two teams will wrap up the regular season next week. Now, East Hall's got the big task. They will travel to Cherokee Bluff to take on the Bears, who I'm sure are not happy this morning after falling to Jefferson from last night, 35-7. And it will be West Hall at home. They'll take on Monroe area. Oconee County defeated Monroe area from last night, and that could have set things up. Here's how it could have went. If West Hall had won the ball game from last night, and they could have beat Monroe area next week, they would be in the state playoffs. And that one touchdown there, 7-point victory for East Hall. Now, they still have a mathematical chance of making it in the state playoffs. And I'll talk about the state playoffs and more coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Plus, we'll talk to our representative from NGPG with our Sports Minute here on 97.5 Glory FM.
At Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation.
New ideas in
97.5
our
Glory
industry that
FM.
lead to better use of resources and improved ways of conducting business.
To be an innovative cooperative, I believe we always have to be looking at how we are handling our member experience.
Innovation is really important to Jackson.
97.5
It's our role to
Glory.
really make sure we're on the cutting edge of these new changes in technology that are coming to the power sector.
97.5
Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
This is Matt Nix, president of Duplicating Products, where we're proud to celebrate 50 years of serving North Georgia. Since 1974, Duplicating Products has been dedicated to providing top-quality office solutions and exceptional service. Our success would not have been possible without the support of our incredible community and loyal customers. Thank you for being an important part of our journey. Find out more about us at duplicatingproducts.com/thank you.
It's flu season in North Georgia, and now is the time to take care of yourself and get your flu shot at Riverside Pharmacy. Nobody wants to be hit with the flu bug, but if you haven't had your shot yet and you've been bitten with the flu, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy in Gainesville can help you too. They can fill your prescription with expert care and have you up and going before you know it. And they're your headquarters for all of your over-the-counter needs. Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
97.5 Glory FM. We're back with Dr. Chad Muxlow, one of the surgeons at NGPG Ortho and Sports Medicine. We have talked to him a couple of times. I want to talk more about the services that are offered there at NGPG. Tell me about some of the common injuries that you're seeing, sir.
Yeah, so at our practice, we treat any kind of musculoskeletal injury. So, anything from broken bones to ligament injuries, to tendon injuries, to, strains and sprains and those things as well. So pretty much any, joint or muscle, bone, that's where we're going to be focusing on as far as providing care for. Some of the more common injuries that we see, we certainly see a lot of shoulder injuries. A lot of times these are repetitive use type injuries where, again, it may not be a real severe injury or something that happened, but also start having some pain in there and start causing some issues for patients. And so, that's a pretty common injury. And again, knee injuries are pretty common. Less common, the smaller joints we don't see as much, like an elbow or ankle injury. We do see ankle fractures because those tend to happen where patients kind of twist their ankle, they're coming off the curb or stepping wrong or slipping. So those are a little more common. As far as like tendon injuries in the ankle or cartilage injuries, those are a little less frequent than we see with the bigger joints like the knees and shoulders.
All right, so as I get older, I'm having a little difficulty, say, with one of my arms, and I think, okay, it could be a rotator cuff, but I'm not quite sure. What would be some of the symptoms of having a bad rotator cuff?
So a lot of times with rotator cuff injuries, they may start out kind of small, just kind of a sore shoulder, kind of achy. A lot of times you see it on the side of the shoulder, even sometimes down the arm a little bit, kind of midway down the arm. A lot of times we'll see that because we'll start overworking or compensating some of the other muscles around the shoulder to compensate for that rotator cuff, and then we'll start overworking some of those other muscles, and the pain will be down a little further. But we'll start seeing some pain. That's usually how it starts. A lot of times patients will complain of pain at night, trouble sleeping. It'll wake them up at night, kind of makes them miserable because if you can't sleep, it's tough to get anything else done the day if you're pretty tired. So we'll see that as well. When they start getting more severe, that's when we're going to start noticing weakness, difficulty lifting out away from the body. So if you reach out to grab a pitcher of tea out of the fridge and you're like, oh man, that really hurts, and have trouble lifting that pitcher or at least causes pain, that's another common symptom we'll see with the rotator cuff. And then if it gets real severe, then we just have trouble lifting the arm up. So you're trying to lift that arm out away from the body, up overhead. And sometimes people, when they have a pretty significant tear, will have difficulty doing that. At that point, then we're getting pretty worried if you can't lift that arm. It's something that's pretty significant as far as damage in that shoulder.
All right, use me as one of your patients, sir. I've got pain in my left arm near my shoulder down toward the bicep. Is that a symptom there?
Yeah, that could be, if it's in kind of the biceps area, it could be, some biceps tendonitis. There's a little groove that the bicep sits in where it kind of comes up from the biceps muscle itself and then goes up and attaches into the shoulder. And sometimes we'll get some irritation, inflammation in that area. Sometimes we'll even get some tearing in that tendon up at that top part in that groove there, and that can be cause a bit of discomfort as well. So we'll see that that biceps tendon can be a big pain generator if there's some inflammation or a little bit damage to that tendon as it comes up into the shoulder, and then it actually attaches deep inside the socket of the shoulder. One of the tendons of the biceps does. Sometimes that'll kind of pull away and cause some pain in there as well. So we'll see that kind of more in that front area of the shoulder when we're doing things like reaching out, lifting up, reaching back behind. Like if you're going to grab your bag out of the back seat of the car or something, you're reaching back and start feeling kind of pain across the front of the shoulder. That could be more of a biceps injury.
Exactly. So go to NGPG. Not only offer surgery, but also you can do rehab, right?
Absolutely. So, we certainly try to focus on surgery as a last resort, right? So we want to try any conservative measures we can to get patients better. So we try, physical therapy, either going to see a physical therapist, or sometimes we'll set you up with exercises that you can do on your own at first. Sometimes we'll do some injections just to try to reduce inflammation if we need to. A lot of times it's a good way to get pain reduced quickly because we can put that medication right at that site. And sometimes it's just over-the-counter medications and things like that. But those are all things that we want to try usually as first-line treatments for injuries that are less severe. Sometimes, the injury could be more significant than that, and we just won't make progress. And then, if we have to, surgical options are available if it is that significant where we need to go down that road.
All right, so I can make an appointment there at NGPG, or I can just walk right into your office, right?
Yeah, you can. It's easy to call. We can usually get you in right away that day or the next day, usually without too much difficulty. You can just come into the office if you have an issue, and we can usually get patients worked in. We try to make time and have space every day to get people in if we need to, and kind of work them into the schedule for sure.
So tell me where you're located.
So I'm located at our Gainesville office, which is in Medical Park 1, just on Jesse Jewell near the hospital there. I also see patients in Dawsonville at our Dawsonville office. We have a brand new medical office building that just is being built there, and so we see patients there. I see patients there as well, and so we kind of focus on those areas. But we do have other locations throughout the Northeast Georgia area, such as Brazelton and Jefferson and other areas as well, sometimes some smaller satellite clinics. But main office is definitely Gainesville and Dawsonville are kind of our main locations in addition to Brazelton.
Well, thanks to Dr. Chad Muxlow of NGPG Ortho and Sports Medicine. We got more for you coming up next on 97.5 Glory FM.
Hey, it's Coach Mark Richt here. Everyone knows defense wins championships. And if you're not using EMC Security to defend your home and family, you need to step up your game. They're who I use for home security and cameras, and you should too. I've scouted them all, and there's no better choice. With EMC Security's no contract and local service, they are a clear number one. So give them a call or visit them online at emcsecurity.com. That's emcsecurity.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
Siphon Logistics' commitment is to provide you, the customer, with on-time pickup and delivery every time. Members of the Siphon family have been in the transportation business since 1984. The Siphon Logistics transportation professionals are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing maximum flexibility and options to produce the most successful shipping arrangements. Call Siphon Logistics at 770-287-8485 and take a look at their website at siphonlogistics.com.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM, almost 9:30. Right now we have 62 degrees under clear, sunny skies at our studios. As we recap high school football action from last night, we'll talk college football. Just let you know, Georgia fans, you're off this week getting ready for the big game down in Jacksonville next week with Florida, and the Dogs coming up. That big win over number 1 ranked Texas last Saturday night in Austin, Texas. Coming up today at 12:30, you'll hear Georgia State football as Dave Cohen and Harper LaBelle bring you the play-by-play of Georgia State football. Will be the flagship station for the network as we'll bring you the Panther pregame show starting at 12:30. Kick off the game at 1 p.m. live from the top of the mountain there in Boone, North Carolina. And I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk here in just a little bit about really the devastation of Hurricane Helene to that area. The classes were called off at Appalachian State for the rest of this semester, and a lot of the players were helping out with relief efforts. It's been really something to see and to hear about, and I'm sure Dave will give us a first-hand look at what happened there and how things are being affected there in Appalachian State with the game taking place today. Both teams looking for their first conference win of the season, both 0-3 going into the game this afternoon right here on 97.5 Glory FM at 1 p.m. High school football state playoffs. Here's what we got right now. Currently, we have 4, possibly 5 teams that were making the state playoffs right now out of the Hall County area, plus other teams around our local area. Right now, we have Gainesville High. They will be the number 3 team out of Region 7 Quinte. Now, in Quad A, Quinte, and 6A, they still do the old-fashioned way, or the traditional way of taking the top 4 teams in each region playing in the state playoffs with the 32 teams vying for the state championship. Right now, it'll be determined next Friday night with Milton taking on Roswell, who will be the number 1 team, and the loser will be the number 2 team. Gainesville will be the number 3 team. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Seconder with the number 4 seed after a big win last night over Chattahoochee. In Region 8 Quad A play, well, in that one right now, it is North Oconee, number 1. Then you have East Side of Covington, number 2. Number 3 looks like it's going to be East Forsyth. Number 4 would be Flowery Branch. The Falcons need to win their game against Cedar Shoals, which has had a difficult season this year for the Jaguars out of Athens. It would be Flowery Branch, the number 4 team, so Flowery Branch will be going into the state playoffs. In Region 6 AAA, North Hall captures the first region championship since 2012 and the first outright championship since 2007 when they went undefeated that year. North Hall, the number 1 seed. Number 2 seed right now is Greater Atlanta Christian, but that could change with games coming up next week. Lumpkin County, the number 3 seed. Right now you have Dawson County in 4th place. Chestatee is in 5th place. And look at that one right there. That one very important for the War Eagles because of the difficult schedule that you have in Region 6 AAA, and will lose a team in the state playoffs because of GAC, because the private schools in AAA and AAA will play their own state championship, and that means you have another team that could be a lower seed in the AAA playoffs. Here's what happens is that they want to get the best 32 teams in the state to play for a state championship, no matter what region you played in. But the number 1 seed, the number 1 team in each region, they're guaranteed to be in the state playoffs. They'll be seeds 1 through 8. So North Hall is in the state playoffs, and they would be probably talking to Jody King last night, number 5, 6, maybe another number 7 seed going into the open round state playoffs, which means they go right here. We got 1 versus 32, 2 versus 31, 3 versus 30, 4 versus 29, 5 would be number 28. So North Hall, here with the number 5 seed, will take on the number 28 seed in the tournament. 6 goes 27, 7 takes on 25. The number 2 teams each region, they are guaranteed to be in the state playoffs. They would be the number 9 through 16 seed, except for the fact if you had a region champion as a private school, then you would bump up into that top 8. Say the number 9 seed would go up, but right now I don't see any private school in AAA, for example, being in that position. But there is that situation in AA. I'll tell you about it in just a moment. Now in AAA, you've got, for example, North Hall be one of the top 8 seeds. You may hear in the background they're doing some renovations here at the studio. We're installing a new furnace system here at our studio, so they're working on that right now behind the scenes, and thanks to them, but we'll see what kind of noise we can make here on the station this morning. But you'll have the number 2 team in each region. They'll be 9 through 16. And right now in Region 6, you have GAC, but next week you have Chestatee playing GAC, and anything can happen after last night. the Spartans are shocked, in my mind, by Pickens, as it was Pickens leading 21-10 in the fourth quarter. And then GAC came back, scored 15 straight points, made it 25-21. But then, in the last minute of the ball game, Pickens scores a winning touchdown. They win 28-25, which means now we can have a three-way tie for the number 2 spot in the region there with Lumpkin County, also with GAC, and even possibly Dawson County in the rims. But right now, the way it looks, if Lumpkin County wins their game next week, the way I'm looking at it off the top of my head, and Chestatee were to win over GAC, then you'd have Lumpkin County moving into the number 2 seed. That would be a big thing for Coach Heath Webb's Lumpkin County Indians, as they're knocking on the wall downstairs right now, okay? And so that would happen. In Region 8 AAA, right now you have Jefferson, the number 1 seed. They take on Oconee County next week for the region championship. The loser will be the number 2 seed right now. And I say that because according to what happens, let's say Oconee County were to beat Jefferson next week, and Cherokee Bluff, they defeat East Hall. They did have a three-way tie there. The loss last night, the big loss by Cherokee Bluff, will really hurt them from being a number 1 or number 2 seed. They'd probably be a number 3 seed, and the loser of that Oconee County Jefferson will probably be the number 2 seed. Winner will be the number 1 seed. Number 4, though, that's the big question right now. Will it be Monroe area, or could it be East Hall? And so we'll find out next week with the games being played next Friday night, because it will be Oconee County and Jefferson, East Hall and Cherokee Bluff, West Hall and Monroe area being played next week. Mentioned in 8AA, for example, you have 2 private schools. That'll be number 1 and number 2 in that region, which has Stevens County, Hart County, and Franklin County, and East Jackson in that region. And so you can see those teams move up according to what they call these power rankings, and they have a point system when you take your opponent, their 1-loss record, against their opponent's 1-loss record, against their opponent's 1-loss record, and you get more points for a road win and that kind of thing. And so it's going to be very convoluted. For example, talking with Jody Kinney last night, he said North Hall got hurt by even winning last night's game against Johnson because the Knights were winless on the season. And he said ahead of North Hall in the power rankings is Calhoun. They're playing Lafayette next week, and the Ramblers out of Lafayette, they're winless on the season, so it won't help them any next week. But North Hall, if they were to defeat Dawson County next week in our broadcast game for North Hall next Friday, that might lift North Hall past Calhoun in the power rankings. And, of course, that's going to be the big thing. Look at the math and what the computer says, and we'll find out next Saturday morning about the playoff situation. Now, again, in the GHSA, all the teams here in North Georgia will have the week of the 8th off because they extended the season 1 week because of the teams that were affected by the hurricane back in September. And so they're going to play their makeup games on November the 8th, where here we'll have a week off, and we'll start things off on November 15th. And that's why we'll have the game, hopefully, with Lakeview Academy on November the 8th. And then we'll follow North Hall at the Brickyard at Lincoln Trail Stadium coming up on November 15th. That's just some of the things that get sort of confusing. At the same time, you see now, right now in Hall County, we will have Gainesville, North Hall, Cherokee Bluff. It looks like Flyer Branch and also Lakeview Academy in the state playoffs. Also, you'll have, looks like Lumpkin County. We'll see about Dawson County if they make it or not. And then Habersham Central could be the number 4 seed team out of Region 8 Quinte. They also just take the top 4 teams out of each region going into the state playoffs. Jackson County going to the state playoffs in that region. And in 8A, Commerce is in the state playoffs, and that's a big thing for the Commerce Tigers. We got much more for you coming up next. We'll talk NFL football. Harper LaBelle, will get him up in Moon, North Carolina. That comes up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
Your home is part of you, and keeping it comfortable and well-maintained is essential. Conditioned Air Systems is North Georgia's solution for residential heating, air, and plumbing services. For more than 40 years, our family has been committed to delivering the highest quality service by our certified technicians and plumbers. Experience the difference today when you choose Conditioned Air Systems for your home's heating, air, and plumbing needs. Quality you can feel, service you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Bushton, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/black-and-blue.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, you may hear that knocking. That's a knocking to get Harper LaBelle up this morning. You hear that knocking on your door, Harper?
Yeah, I didn't answer the 8 o'clock wake-up call, so I guess hitting the sledgehammer against the wall is another way to wake somebody up, isn't it, Mike?
That's what we're doing, sir, from that standpoint. So how's the weather in North Carolina?
Boy, it's gorgeous. Just a few clouds in the sky. It's cooled down a little bit, but they say it's going to be another warm day with a little bit of a cold front maybe by the time the game is over. But should be very nice. Absolutely beautiful up here in the mountains.
Who's driving, you or Dave?
Dave is breathing down my neck right now, ready to chomp at the bit and talk about Georgia State athletics.
He will in a moment. So are y'all riding on the team bus? How are you getting to Boone?
Yeah, we're there's 5 buses, and we're getting police escorts. And
all right.
Looking outside, the leaves are starting to change color up here, but I haven't seen any of the damage yet. We've seen a few trees that are blown over, but the real deep stuff, they say we're heading right into that. That's part of the damage from a month ago. That really serious stuff, but we're not quite in that range. We're still just leaving the Hickory perimeter. I'm expecting Opie and Barney to meet with Andy, and Aunt B is waiting with the peach cobbler ready for it.
Hey, that sounds good to me from that standpoint. Talking with Harper LaBelle on the road going into Boone, North Carolina. He'll be a part of the broadcast with Dave Cohen this afternoon at 12:30 p.m. here on 97.5 Glory FM, and at 1 o'clock kickoff with Georgia State football taking on Appalachian State. I want to talk to Harper, then we'll talk with Dave in just a moment here about college football. Let's talk NFL football as the Falcons go to Tampa tomorrow. Talk about damage down that way. You probably saw some film of and highlights of the damage that took place down in Tampa. And I'm surprised they can be played there at Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, no kidding. 2 hurricanes that have touched in different ways in the last month. And then the injury bug, if you want to call it that, their leading receivers, Chris Godwin, who I just think is a phenomenal addition to anybody's club. He's the guy that will get you open and keep the first downs going. Well, Mike Evans makes the big plays. Well, both of them are out. I was just looking at their stats. They account for about 130 yards per game, the two of them, of the 260. So literally 50% of their receiving offense goes out the window this week. Godwin is on the injured reserve list, but Evans is definitely out for this week. So they're going to have to find Cade Otton, tight end, or running backs, or these secondary receivers for Baker Mayfield to keep the offense moving as succinctly as it has been for the last couple of weeks.
So do they have a running game that we can stop, you think?
Yeah, it's okay. They average about 130 yards a game, which is pretty good, in the middle of the pack for the league. But, can the Falcons stop it? That seemed to be a wedge in our defense, is that we haven't stopped the run as good as we would like, and we certainly are struggling with getting to the passer. So there's some areas of improvement that still need to be a part of Flowery Branch's game plan. But, for right now, it's actually good news to know that the receiving core for Tampa is less than stellar right now. They're really they're wounded.
Oh, yeah, I hate to hear that, but absolutely for us, that's good news for the Falcons to have their 2 best receivers that are out. So can you tell me what happened last week? Because I did not get a chance to hear the game, and it sounded like Geno, their quarterback in Seattle, became like the number 1 quarterback in the league with the Falcons.
Yeah, that's happened last year quite a bit. We didn't even know it was going to be there is looking like a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
Mike, you get desperate times call for desperate measures, and after losing 3 straight, Seattle said, "Hey, let's turn it around in Atlanta," and they did. They just kept scoring, and we couldn't match them.
Yep.
They ran well. Walker had a couple of touchdowns, one of them receiving that was pretty impressive. And you throw it all together, and the Falcons couldn't match the energy, in my opinion. And Seattle needed that win badly. They're 3-4, and they're atop the NFC West right now with San Francisco, believe it or not. So they're pretty happy about getting that win in Atlanta, and they've got a Monday night game coming up. But I'm gonna tell you what, they're a good football team. They are. They throw the ball as good as anybody, and we sure assisted them by not being able to get Geno down or keep him down in any way, shape, or form.
And as a fan, they'll say, okay, they'll want to why. So is that coaching not getting them prepared for the game? To know what Geno's going to do for the Seattle team, or what was really your thing?
Well, if you're going to point fingers, let's just point a little bit at everybody. It was personal. Did we not match the energy? That's on the players.
Yep.
Were we not prepared as a coaching staff? Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure they prepared. Don't get me wrong there, but
sure.
Seattle said, "Hey, we need this one a little bit more." They played harder. It happens sometimes. You don't want it to happen, and especially when you're trying to establish a home field advantage and you keep losing at home, you just keep pushing that back one week after another. And the Falcons have had trouble with that ever since they moved into the Dome.
Yes, they have the others. So, all right, Wofford's winner tomorrow. Harper's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. What do you think?
Well, I think Tampa's a different beast when they're at home. So they're good. They're a really good team, and if we can slow down their run game, because their passing game is going to be different, we got a chance. They score a lot of points, and we're going to need to be able to do the very same thing. It's a divisional rivalry. It's been good for years, but Tampa has pretty much owned it in their building. I remember a couple years ago when Brady was there, and Grady Jarrett sacks Tom Brady and stops the drive. And next thing you see a yellow flag down there. Hey, you roughed the quarterback. No, he didn't. Yes, you did. And the drive keeps going on, and Tampa found a way to win. That's just one of the things that happens in this division at this time of the year. The Saints can say it. Carolina can say it. Everybody says, man, when we're at home, we're going to beat the Falcons.
We'll see what happens then. Tomorrow, kickoff will be down at Raymond James Stadium with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the Falcons went through the first time of the division undefeated 3-0. See what happens tomorrow. Harper, I'll let you hand over the phone here in a moment. Today we'll get much more for you coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
At Jackson EMC, innovation is an ongoing cycle, a process without a beginning or an end, where one idea leads to the next. Solar power, electric vehicle program, energy-efficient right choice homes, automated switch technology. What we do as an industry is vital. We keep communities powered, so we must always have an eye on the future. Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
This is Matt Nix, president of Duplicating Products, where we're proud to celebrate 50 years of serving North Georgia. Since 1974, Duplicating Products has been dedicated to providing top-quality office solutions and exceptional service. Our success would not have been possible without the support of our incredible community and loyal customers. Thank you for being an important part of our journey. Find out more about us at duplicatingproducts.com/thank you.
12 minutes until 10 o'clock, 9:48 at 97.5 Glory FM. He's sitting right next to me, so he's breathing down his neck. Then we had the phone over from Harper LaBelle to Dave going on the bus there. Hey, David. There you go, Dave.
Good morning, Mike.
There you are. Great, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good. As Harper said, we're on the bus. We're always on bus 5, and we're headed up the mountain to Boone.
All right, so are you on an interstate going that way, or are you just on 2-lane road? How is it going from Hickory to Boone?
It's pretty much a 4-lane. We camped out in Hickory last night, so leaving Hickory and heading up to Boone for this one this afternoon.
You do the best thing about Hickory, don't you? They had the Crawdads, their minor league baseball team there. I know you'd love to see that.
I remember we had a Georgia State kid that played for the Hickory Crawdads way back in the day.
How about that? So here we are on the road, a place we had never played well before, but this one I think is a different type of scenario, don't you think?
Well, I'm anxious to see what kind of a crowd they have here today based on, the storm and everything, and people are busy scurrying around doing other things. And, normally when you come up here, it's standing room only crowd, 30,000 plus.
Yep.
Under normal circumstances, but this is the first game that is being played at Kidd Brewer since the storm. They've not played a home game in 37 days, so it'll be interesting to see, how they come out and play in this football game today. They have the exact same record as Georgia State. They're 2-4 overall. They're 0-3. And, what you have right here is, as we talked with Coach Del McGee during the week, you got two teams that are playing with their backs against the wall with a sense of urgency. But this will be the 11th meeting, and when you look back at the prior 10, Appalachian State has won all 10 meetings by an average of 26 points, although there have been one or two occasions where Georgia State found themselves in a woulda, coulda, shoulda situation where they woulda, coulda, shoulda won the football game but did not. So, based on how they're playing this year, same record, I think if the Georgia State team that played against Vanderbilt a month ago comes out today at Kidd Brewer, it could be interesting.
Well, I think it will be, because my question to you would be, with your background in college sports, knowing that the semester is over for the students there at Appalachian State because of the hurricane, and you are a creature of habit when it comes to a player and a college athlete trying to get ready for a ball game and go to class, that kind of thing. To me, everything is just, for the lack of a better term, just not right getting ready for that idea of even playing football at Appalachian State.
Yeah, it's called being out of sorts a little bit,
Yep.
and that's the way things are up here. I mean,
Yep.
This is a football team and a program and a community that's not used to being 2-4 and 0-3 in Sun Belt Conference play,
Sure.
above and beyond all the rest of it. So,
Yep.
I think that in the pressure cooker of Appalachian State football, that pressure is rising week to week. And, this may be a great opportunity for Georgia State. Del McGee told us last week, heading into the game at Marshall, that, even as a player and as a coach, he likes road games. And this team, this Georgia State team, likes road games where you go in and your backs are against the wall and it's a circle the wagons mentality, us against the 30,000 fans, that normally would be in Kidd Brewer. So, again, if the Georgia State team that beat Vanderbilt and put 36 points on the board, and runs the ball the way they ran the ball, comes out in today's ball game and gets off to a good start, then that gives you a good chance to get off the mountain with a W. If the Georgia State team that, followed that up with games against Georgia Southern and Old Dominion that they did not play that well, then it could make for a long afternoon. One of the positives was after not running the ball well against Georgia Southern or Old Dominion, and by the way, you saw Old Dominion dismantle Georgia Southern on Thursday night. Old Dominion, interestingly enough, now sits atop the Sun Belt Eastern Division standings.
How about that?
But Georgia State did find the running game again last week with 218 net yards rushing, which was a real positive sign. And then, a great job by Freddie Brock and by C.J. Beasley, who's seen his role rise a little bit. We'll see if Jordan Ford is able to play at all today. And it looks like Zach Gibson is going to get his second start at quarterback. So, again, one of the things that Coach McGee told me in our pregame this week, one of the keys, and this is always a key, it doesn't change from week to week, got to establish the run, establish it early, and you're never going to stop someone from running the ball necessarily, but you got to slow them down. And that, I think, first and foremost, when you look at their personnel led by quarterback Joey Aguilar, they've got some pretty good running backs, Kanye Roberts, Anderson Castle, and Amani Marshall. And Castle kid did some damage against us last year in Atlanta. So, from a defensive standpoint, got to get pressure on Aguilar. He's got 9 interceptions on the season, and then try to slow the running game a little bit.
Tell me about the importance of changing quarterbacks with Zach Gibson.
Well, Coach McGee will tell you that, either one could start, but he likes the headiness that Zach brought into the game 2 games ago when he came in late against Old Dominion, and then last week when he got his first start against Marshall. They're both experienced. Christian Veyer, who started the season, has been at Penn State and Pitt. He's played in big games before. Zach Gibson, the kid out of Johns Creek, has been at Akron and Georgia Tech. You know, he's been in some big games before, so it's not about the stage being too big. It's just, you know, whoever has the hot hand at the time. And
right.
Christian had it earlier in the season.
Oh, sure.
Against Chattanooga and against Vanderbilt, but kind of lost it. And so, you know, now you bring Zach in. And, you know, I thought Zach played fairly well against Marshall last week.
Sure
but we'll see how if he does indeed get the start today. They haven't officially named the starting quarterback. I believe it'll be Zach. But, you know, based on what he's done the last two games, including the start of Marshall, I feel pretty good about him getting the start again today and hopefully leading this team and being a leader.
Tell you how busy Dave Cohen is. And Harper Bell's busy enough, but Dave's just about as busy. So you play this game today, you head back home, and then you got a road game again next week. But then, for whatever reason, they're playing on Friday night.
Yeah, so they'll head back tonight. You know, it'll be, again, not a Thursday night short week, but a Friday night short week. So they'll practice. They may even practice a little bit on Sunday, and then, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, leave Thursday, and head up to Storrs, Connecticut, and take on the Huskies of UConn Friday night. And, you know, we've called this the gauntlet after playing the first 5 games in Atlanta. And other than Georgia Tech, the games 2, 3, 4, and 5 at home, you know, we're in the middle of the gauntlet right now. And, you know, after today's game, it's a road game in Connecticut, followed by a road game at James Madison. And then 2 of the last 3 are at home with Arkansas State and Coastal Carolina. But in between, you got to go to Texas and take on Texas State. So the scheduling folks really did not do Georgia State really much favors after Week 5.
So another job for Dave, put him in charge of scheduling in the Sun Belt Conference. That's a note to the Sun Belt Conference for next year from that standpoint. So, all right, the deal is we'll have next Friday night's game on November 1st with UConn. We'll have that next Saturday, same time, 12:30 p.m. Panther pregame show, kickoff at 1 p.m. next Saturday here on 97.5 Glory FM. And they're on their way. We'll have the pregame show today at 12:30. Kickoff will be at 1 p.m. Hey, get off the mountain with a W, okay?
All right, that's the goal. Get off the mountain with a W. We haven't done it yet. Hopefully today will be the day.
All right, be safe. Thanks much. We got much more for you coming up next. We'll wrap things up on the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5 Glory FM.
It's flu season in North Georgia, and now is the time to take care of yourself and get your flu shot at Riverside Pharmacy. Nobody wants to be hit with the flu bug, but if you haven't had your shot yet and you've been bitten with the flu, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy in Gainesville can help you too. They can fill your prescription with expert care and have you up and going before you know it. And they're your headquarters for all of your over-the-counter needs. Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Hey, it's Coach Mark Richt here. Everyone knows defense wins championships. And if you're not using EMC security to defend your home and family, you need to step up your game. They're who I use for home security and cameras, and you should too. I've scouted them all, and there's no better choice. With EMC Security's no contract and local service, they are a clear number 1. So give them a call or visit them online at emcsecurity.com. That's emcsecurity.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
This is your 2-minute warning. We were getting ready for the top of the hour here on 97.5 Glory FM. Again, we'll bring you college football this afternoon, starting at 12:30 with the Panther pregame show. Kickoff at 1 p.m. with Appalachian State and Georgia State here on 97.5 Glory FM. Next Friday night, the last game of the regular season of high school football for 2024 will be at North Hall as Dawson County takes on the Region 6 AAA champion North Hall Trojans right here on 97.5 Glory FM. The Longstreet Cafe pregame show begins at 7:05. Kickoff at 7:30 p.m. with Joe Gailey, Gary Glenn, and I right here on your radio station home for North Georgia Sports 97.5 Glory FM. Also today And the high school volleyball state playoff action semifinal play. In Class AAA play, Jefferson takes on White County. Winner to play for the state championship coming up next week. And yesterday in high school softball, LaGrange won Game 3 over North Hall, eliminating the Lady Trojans from a chance to head to Columbus. And next week, the high school softball state championships take place down in Columbus. All the different classifications playing down there at the Olympic side in Columbus. And, of course, we'll bring you all the details of local sports coverage here on 97.5 Glory FM. Thanks for joining me this morning here on 97.5 Glory FM. Make sure you join us on our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. I'm Mike Wofford. Thanks for being with us here on 97.5 Glory FM, where we're good sports.